A PDO is a philanthropic development office we consider as the basic unit of the ecosystem where we professionalize the direct linkage between donors and beneficiaries. It will institutionalize and create transparency, good stewardship of resources, monitor impact of their programs, create advocacy impact so that in the holistic part of it, it's not just only about the money, but it's also the stewardship of the utilization of this money that is supporting the mission of these charities. We are also trying to build an ecosystem of different philanthropic development offices because it is only in the ecosystem that we will be able to sustain our growth together.
We see that this PDO thing, this whole ecosystem, social commerce, and crypto philanthropy is the best way forward towards sustainability. Not only for the foundation itself, but also for the beneficiaries who eventually be the ones to receive whatever benefits that the foundation will be receiving. And of course, ultimately, the other PDOs also all over the country.
It has helped us to identify our funding needs, especially for the sick, with the help and guidance that they are giving. Our ministry to the sick is now more organized, more efficient, and systematic.
They have been doing their best to assist us and to work from where we are so that we could truly function as such.
One thing that Spring Rain was able to help us and has been going on until now is really connecting a lot of people, and not only here in the Philippines but also abroad.
They have given us the right mindset, the skill set, and the tool set that we need in order to establish our office and to raise funds for our apostolate in education.
It was very chaotic. Before Spring Rain, we were just scrambling and trying to figure things out, where Spring Rain came and gave us the technology on how to run it properly. We had departments, roles, and it was an organized machine where it's just like the business or any entity that it would function on its own. Even if one person's not there or the president is not there, the foundation is constantly moving and functioning.
For the new PDOs, the resources that you have will be maximized because of the system that Spring Rain will teach you and will share with you.
The system has helped us how to pool resources, how to manage the fund, how also to manage our advocacies, our activities and program, how to sustain it, and plans are being done for its continuity.
I would like to invite you to engage with Spring Rain and help the people, your community, more with the system.
Without the system, it will block succession. If you have the right skillful people without the system, then it cannot sustain long enough. If you have a system without the right people, then you miss the opportunity of maximizing the whole process. There's a lot of donor fatigue that is happening right now. And it's not because they don't want to give. It's about being annoyed by the manner of asking. It's actually the manner of the way we are communicating with the donor.
The perennial problem that we have been encountering is the problem of sustainability. Partly because we haven't nourished and nurtured relationships with our different benefactors all these years. That's why I see the great potential that once we are able to connect and to nurture our relationship with our donors and eventually make their donation, make their giving more of a happy experience, then probably things will be better, so that it doesn't become a linear type of relationship, but it becomes a mutual kind of relationship. When the donor gives, he is happy because he was able to give, and of course he is happy that he is being regularly updated by the happenings and the updates of the foundation itself.
We are able to see more people who are really not only business driven, but deep inside they want to make their businesses even more meaningful. They are finding meaning on giving impact to the lives of others. It ignites more our desire to do mission, to expand our mission. We are very excited to continue doing it and to be more serious about it.
It takes a way to really study them and learn about how these donors need to get motivated, get involved, so that the fatigue that is happening will turn into a transformation of partnership, love, generosity, and it will create a very wonderful family in the world of philanthropy. We gathered with a shared commitment to nurturing transformative change in philanthropy.
This is inspiring. I think that would be an understatement.
Really happy to see a lot of amazing thought leaders in this event stepping up and scaling up their capacity and capability on providing impact.
One of my greatest takeaway is that leadership does not mean you have to do it my way, but we have to see together what is the best way forward to enhance all of us.
My biggest takeaway is really we cannot exist as an organization by ourselves. We need to continue to capacitate ourselves.
We've seen a whole new world, a whole new dimension. Corporate social responsibility should not be plainly corporate at all. You have the concept, you have the output, but what's the outcome? Injecting the love for humanity into your corporate social responsibility is the key to have a successful outcome.
Philanthropy grows as we practice it effectively. Every engagement that I had in the last 8 years shows the philanthropy level of our partners. And I hope that as we go along, a lot of our stakeholders will also go with us.
ISO is globally recognized. So if we have funders around the world, it creates credibility for the philanthropy, for the NGO.
The founders or the owners tend to do all the things so they cannot scale up. One key component to ensure sustainability by hiring the correct, talented people with the right culture, knowledge, and skills.
AI is moving very fast. Technology is going to play a key role, most of all, improving the output. Technology will play a key role in the philanthropic community, and it is very encouraging to see everyone trying to stay on top of it.
So as a local chief executive of our municipality of Alegria, I am so happy, overwhelmed. You know, there are so many things that we wanted to do, but there's lacking. We need to collaborate.
So Spring Rain Global is very glad to trailblaze enabler for building the ecosystem on philanthropy. We have influenced the European Chamber to also join in our ecosystem, so they will anchor the corporate sector, use philanthropy in the core of its strategic direction as well. As the director of the AVPN in the Philippines, it is also our thrust that we continue to develop the landscape of funding network in the country.
Within AVPN, we have 600 members across 35 countries, and we have 150 plus funders actually already make a collaborations in Philippines. Means that there is a lot of opportunity for stakeholders in Philippines to explore.
And one of the biggest threats is the health impacts of climate change, both in terms of health outcomes, but also the impact on health systems. Here in our event today, we'll be talking about what are the different strategies and bringing together policymakers, funders, implementing organizations, thought leaders to push this agenda forward.
Race to Net Zero Philippines was established by the CCP, and then UN gave us a roadmap to apply as an accelerator of the Race to Zero global campaign. And now here we are, launching this campaign in the Philippines for the first time. Philanthropy really plays an important, in fact, a key role in making this happen.
Let us continue to nurture an environment that will transform leadership and social responsibility to the next level, and work together to make this world a better place for all. for this year's conference is Nurturing Transformative Change in Philanthropy. We want to evolve, and we believe that only transformative change in the impact of philanthropy can get us to scale and get things done.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Spring Rain Global's fourth quarter fundraising campaign. Please make yourselves comfortable wherever you are right now, and let us enjoy tonight's program. Before we begin, we would like to share a few reminders. Put your microphone on mute to avoid unnecessary noise. Edit your Zoom name display using this format. Your name, organization's name, dash your name. For example, SRG dash Pressa. Please stay with us until the end of the program. We would love to have you around as we unfold another year-end fundraising campaign. Lastly, please take a selfie, upload it on your social media account, and use the hashtag SRG Empower Change 100 Days of Giving, and enjoy the session. To officially start, join us in singing the opening song, followed by the Spring Rain Global's prayer.
I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you in all the lovely things so fine and true. I see you in the beauty of the flowers and the rain. I see you between the lines of a sweet refrain. I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you even when I'm lonely and in pain. I see you in the beauty of the stars at night. I see you in my life, I feel alright. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you in the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray. I'm so blessed, my Lord, I can see you in the smile of a baby, sweet and true. I can see you in the eyes of my very best friends. I see you in these bonds, just like your love would never ends. I see you, Lord, in sorrow and in happiness. I see you in the glory of sweet success. I see you, Lord, every hour, every day. I can see you, Lord, whenever I pray.
of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. The Spring Rain Global Prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be called in this noble endeavor of serving people and organizations through our thrust for a deeper love for humanity and stewardship of our giftedness. As we respond to this ministry each day, fill us with the power of the Holy Spirit, that your wisdom may enlighten us, that your strength may remind us to stay focused in our purpose and calling, that your light be our guide at all times, and that your love be in our hearts. We know that the journey may not always be easy, but we firmly believe and hold on to your promise that you will be with us both in our challenges and victories, as we bring love and unity to your people in service for others. We continue to pray that as we grow the mission and purpose of our Spring Rain Global family, we may be sustained by your grace, ready to open the path for others, so that your blessings and divine providence may completely flow to each and every one of us. May we always stay in your grace, now and forever. This we ask in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We will now play the national anthems of the Philippines, USA, and Singapore to signify the countries where Spring Rain Global is registered and operating.
Bayang magiging, teras ng silanganan, alap ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyad ka ng magiting, sa manlulubing, di ka pasisiing. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang islap ng watawang mo'y tagumpay na naniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan tambay di madidiling. Lupa ng araw ng walhati pansin ka, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga akit ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright star through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red flared, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Mari kita rakyat Singapura sama-sama menuju bahagia, cita-cita kita yang mulia, berjaya Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura.
Good evening once again, and we are now live via Facebook. Thank you so much for being with us. I hope we are all excited for another opportunity in spreading positivity and impact. If you are, please type in yes in the chat box or give us a thumbs up or a heart reaction. We would like to acknowledge the presence of our esteemed Philanthropic Development Office's directors and team, SRG Advisory Board members, the president and officers of the SRG PDO Ecosystem of Good, the Spring Rain Global team, and the rest of the guests joining us from the different parts of the Philippines and the globe who are here with us via Zoom and Facebook Live. To give us the opening remarks, let us all welcome the co-founder and CEO of Spring Rain Global Foundation, Father Gerald Borja, CM.
Thank you, Miss Presa.
You're
Good
welcome.
evening.
Good
Good
evening.
We are here this evening to be part of a very enriching discussion and initiative that is so close to our hearts, so urgent, and which is care for the environment. The current and the present, our present discussion this evening will discuss about the our resiliency and how we can respond to calamities, which is actually deeply and intricately connected with our care and love for our environment. So as we gather this evening, I'd like to welcome all of you, and I'd like to thank you for joining this. I am hoping, we are all hopeful, that this would trigger us to act swiftly and collaboratively in order to respond meaningfully to the calamities hitting our country, both natural and man-made calamities or disasters. So looking forward to a fruitful and intelligent discussion during this meeting, during this fundraising drive. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Father Gerald. Again, we welcome our participating organizations to Spring Rain Global's fourth quarter fundraising campaign, Empower Change 100 Days of Giving. Please don't forget to take a selfie or group photo participating in the campaign. Upload it on your social media accounts and use the hashtag SRG Empower Change 100 Days of Giving. This year's fourth quarter fundraising campaign will focus on the advocacies on climate change, education, and awareness, Race to Zero campaign, SRG Ecosystem Disaster and Climate Fund campaign, human capital development. This includes vocation and formation, skill set upscaling, education and scholarship, livelihood development. This includes solid waste management, social enterprise, and circular economy. Community health resilience. This includes clean water and sanitation, poverty alleviation, peace and order. Disaster preparedness, response and rehabilitation, sustainable transportation and green technology solutions, climate resilient housing and infrastructure, renewable energy and reforestation conservation initiatives. Tonight's highlight advocacy is disaster preparedness, response, and rehabilitation. Joining us for tonight's advocacy are Magical Mission Tondo, Passionists, Corinthian Energy Resources, Anchor Lab and Medical Center Incorporated, Caritas Verac, and Spring Rain Global Foundation. And to tell us more about their programs on disaster preparedness, response, and rehabilitation, let us watch this video.
We have the chance to turn the pages over. We can write what we want to write.
Natural disasters strike with little warning, leaving families and communities in turmoil. The Passionist Philanthropic Development Office responds with compassion, action, and hope, restoring dignity to those affected. The Philippines is one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world. Each year, it faces an average of 20 typhoons, alongside risks of earthquakes, floods, and landslides. These disasters destroy homes, disrupt livelihoods, and take lives. Now more than ever, preparedness is not just a strategy, it is a necessity. Guided by the passionist charism of solidarity with the suffering, we work tirelessly to protect and uplift communities in times of crisis. From providing immediate relief to implementing sustainable solutions, the Passionist PDO are committed to building resilience and restoring hope. Disaster readiness begins long before calamity strikes. We train communities in life-saving skills, ensure in the future our community have access to clean water through rainwater harvesting systems, and enhance environmental resilience with tree planting campaigns. These efforts save lives and minimize the impact of disasters. When disasters hit, our teams are on the ground delivering food, water, clothing, and medical aid to families in urgent need. Quick, compassionate action ensures that no one is left behind during their darkest hours. Recovery goes beyond immediate relief. We work with communities to rebuild homes and schools, restore livelihoods, and create opportunities for a better future. Every project is rooted in the belief that recovery is possible, and hope is stronger than despair. Our initiatives thrive through partnerships with local government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and generous benefactors. Together, we foster a collective sense of responsibility and create lasting impact in the lives of those we serve. Your support is the cornerstone of this mission.
Spring Rain Global supports the participating philanthropic development offices in advocating for a better and healed environment. We aim to raise funding for their programs that focus on preventing further damage to the environment, protecting the natural resources that God has entrusted to us, and eventually create a healthier place to live in. This year's fourth quarter fundraising campaign is very unique as we are the lead collaborator of the Race to Zero Philippines, together with the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, ACCP, as the lead accelerator. Addressing the challenge of climate change is crucial to ensure a sustainable future for all. Net zero is a comprehensive approach in balancing greenhouse gas emissions and its removal from the atmosphere. Achieving the net zero goal is essential to mitigate the devastating impact of climate change and create a more resilient and equitable world. By leading this $6 million USD campaign, we can make significant strides in accelerating the transition to a sustainable net zero future. As a collaborator for this net zero campaign, Spring Rain Global invites all the PDOs, ecosystem members, companies, financial institutions, educational institutions, healthcare providers, environment advocates, civil society, and the general public to be the first 40 champions to pledge 1.5 million pesos. For the next part of our program, we will be hearing from tonight's panelists, the representatives of various stakeholders and participating organizations that support the advocacy of disaster preparedness, response, and rehabilitation. May we call on Father Ray de Guitarra, FDCC PDO Director of Magical Mission Tondo, Ms. John B. Corpus, Pastoral and Social Services Lay Ambassador of Passionist PDO and Database Officer of Passionist Benefactor Society, Ms. Jenny Ravilo Matildo, Chief Marketing Officer of Anchor Lab and Medical Center Incorporated, Mr. John Lin B. Atutubo, Project Coordinator of Caritas Virac Justice and Peace Incorporated, Father Gerald Borja, CM, co-founder and CEO of Spring Rain Global Foundation, Mr. Manolito Vincent Aguilar, Executive Secretary of the CEO of Spring Rain Global Foundation. To facilitate the panel discussion, may I call on Ms. Gia Veloso, Director of CTR for Sciences and Engineering Advocacies, CSR arm of Geo Projecta.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you. I'm just a little bit dealing with a technical problem, but nonetheless, disaster averted. No pun intended. However, I'm so glad to be here, Father. Geo Projects is has a CSR arm, which is the Geo Center for Sciences, Engineering Advocacies. So through science, through mapping, actually, by our geologists and our scientists, we are able to produce geohazard maps for floods and landslides for the stakeholders up to the sitio level, so that the stakeholders and the other responders will be able, and even decision makers will be able to use it in order to mitigate, prevent, reduce risk, and mitigate the effects of disasters in their area. So, shall we begin? I'm so glad that we have our panelists tonight. our discussions will focus on the various areas that have been identified by Spring Rain Global. Uh, okay. While the OCD, the Office of Civil Defense, has identified actually four pillars of disaster risk reduction, mitigation, and management. That includes, to begin with, prevention and risk reduction. And then, secondly, preparedness. Thirdly, is early recovery, search and rescue, early response. And then, fourth is long term rehabilitation. While that is so, Spring Rain Global, our group, has identified as areas of discussion the following topics, okay, specifically geared towards our panelists tonight on community preparedness and resilience. We may be able to, with this forum, we may be able to discuss strategies in order to enhance community preparedness, especially before disasters, including, for instance, trainings, drills, planning programs, awareness campaigns, and then maybe with this discussion, we can emphasize the importance of building resilience so that the effects of climate change, the adverse effects of climate change can be mitigated within the communities. And then secondly, how we need to discuss how we can coordinate and collaborate among the various stakeholders, as well as how we can conduct rapid needs assessment and resource mobilization. We will not forget psychosocial support and mental health services, as well as sustainable rehabilitation practices. So, may I now call on our panelists? For instance, maybe we can start with on community preparedness and resilience. What are your various strategies for enhancing the preparedness of your stakeholders in your respective communities, even before the disaster strike? May we hear from the various panelists, please?
Miss Gia.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Maybe we can start with the people from like Virac and maybe Tondo, because they are the
Pardon?
ones who maybe we can start with the sharing or presentation from Tondo and from Virac, because
Okay,
they are
yes,
the
sir.
ones
Yes,
that are
sir.
being
Yes, Father.
constantly
We can
by
start with that.
calamities. Yes.
May
Thank
we
you.
call on Tonto so that we can. Do they have a presentation that will be played?
No, 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 no. I'm not so sure. Wala naman yata. Yeah.
Okay. So sige po, may we call on our first
Okay.
panelist?
Okay, I am Father Ray. I am the parish priest here in Tondo. Our PDO is called Magical Mission. It means make Jesus known and love. No? In our experience here, in just for 4 years, we have also 5 fires, huge fires, that affected more than 4,200 families. And it has been our perennial problem in our place because in just 1 square kilometer, we have around 90,000 people inside. And along the bay, Manila Bay, we have more than 30,000 individuals. So we are so congested. And also many of people, or our people are living really trying to collect garbage. And it's very hazardous in their places because after they collected the garbage, many of them, they've just put them under their houses or beside of the houses. And many times they have also these jumpers that it create fires. In fact, many of the causes of our fires is really negligence and also because of these jumpers. And it affected a lot, no? And what we are really trying to do is we are still planning because it's so huge that it's difficult to penetrate right away the communities. But we are planning to have with our disaster DRRM. So we are planning to have this awareness campaign, how to prevent fire. And we are planning also to work with the local government and how can we initiate this to inform the people that even how they tried to do many things in their lives when they're fire, so they lost everything. And what we are doing is really we organize from different barangays we have. We call this UBAS and also Barangay Pastoral Council in order that we can have more coordination and also organize even from different groups, different organizations that even outside from us. And we are also lucky that we have a lot of help coming in from our Archdiocese of Manila, especially from Caritas Manila, that they are always there to help us. And SRG has been also a big help for us and tried to connect a different ecosystem in our PDO ecosystem and even from abroad and trying to ask their support not only during the fire but also to prepare to prevent fire. And another thing, our problem is we have a lot of people residing along Manila Bay, these slum areas, when there are typhoons. So just recently of the typhoon of Pipito, we inform right away with the local government and local barangay officials to have this pre-evacuation. We call them to have this relocation right away to evacuate even before the typhoon will come. And we are just lucky because the typhoon didn't hit us. But really at the beginning we're so afraid because it might hit in our place. But just the same, I think the awareness and information and connection with different barangays, different local officials is very helpful. And we were able to prepare the people, prepare their evacuation centers, and as much as possible, uh, asking the people to evacuate before the typhoon will come. And also, we have coordinated already from different organizations to have as much as possible, just like preparing for the ayuda or the food packs. Because when they are asked to evacuate, they are already in need for their foods because they don't have the provisions. And this is what we are doing now. But that's the most urgent really is how we can ask the government if there are the possibilities to relocate our people because we are so congested. And when people are so dense, it's very difficult to control and even to help them. So I think that has been what we are doing, how to prevent the disaster in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Ton. I'm glad that you're already pre-positioning yourselves even before the disaster strike,
Yeah.
and that you are engaging the other communities with regards to how you will address in cases when the disaster happen and where you will evacuate and how you will evacuate and how you will be able to mitigate the risks to your
Yes.
vulnerable communities. May we also hear from Ma'am Joanne Corpus from the Passionist PDO.
Hi, everyone. Is it clear? I'm so sorry. So, for the Passionist PDO, we are actually called to respond both for like challenges for natural and man-made disaster. We are not just, looking at the practical measure, but we also check out the spiritual foundation rooted in our faith. So today, um, we are actually trying to do our best on how to uh, let our community be prepared for disaster, both spiritual and social um, attack for this kind of situation. So it's actually said in the Bible as well that reflecting, it says in Luke 21, chapter 21, verse 36, that we have to be vigilant at all times and pray that we should have strength to escape the tribulation that are imminent and to stand before the Son of Man. So this verse actually reminds us that preparedness is not just about the physical readiness, but also about spiritual vigilance. So, so this is actually like the disaster preparedness calls for the harmony between prayer and action. So, as people of faith, prayer serves as a spiritual foundation, grounding us in trust and reliance on God's providence. However, faith without action is actually really incomplete. So it is through concrete step that we transform our prayer into meaningful responses to the needs of our community. And here in our end, we actually start um, with the student. Like for example, in the Passionist Technological Institute, we are actually doing preparing them for disasters like earthquake. We actually do have like seminar, like disaster preparedness seminars. We also have other activities like, for example, the one that we have right now, educating the community regarding the importance of environmental care. Uh, it actually helped us to have like this disaster resilience because like the effort like Thousand Forest film showing that we have, this is actually raising awareness on the importance of ecological balance, preventing disaster, because that campaign actually we are targeting to have like tree planting project for 6,000 trees for 57 um, passionate indigenous people communities. So that's just one of the example. So here we actually, we Passionist PDO actually serve as stewards of his creation. So like afforestation, sustainable water system, and we are actually targeting as well to have a partnership. Actually, we already have a partnership with Bureau of Soils and Water Management. So we are looking forward to have a cistern type rainwater water harvesting facility to be installed in one of our mission schools. So this actually ensure access to clean water when drought and rainy season will, arrive. We don't know, but this actually promotes health and resilience to our community. So this is just simple steps, but then if you look in a bigger picture, if this will become something to all our communities, this will actually help. Aside from that, uh, the Passionist PDO exemplifies how faith-driven action can be created, can create sustainable solution to reduce disaster risk. So our initiative underscored that caring for creation is not only a moral duty, but also a practical necessity, protecting the lives and the livelihood of people. So now the big question is, how can we strengthen the community collaboration and ensuring that everyone is prepared and supported in times of disaster? So that's actually, we're eyeing to launch a Faith and Action for Resilience campaign. This will actually promote spiritual, a prayer and spiritual formation. So, we could, to ground effort in trust in God's providence, We will also be targeting training and drills for practical disaster response. And also the ongoing thing, we will going to push on to that more, the community eco project, such as the tree planting project, water system installation, and still proceed on, mm, joining the cleanup drives and also the other donation drives that we have, and also resource pooling, like for sustainable funding and materials. And aside from that, the Passionist PDO actually respond to various donation drives, such as the typhoon that's happening everywhere here in the Philippines. It just not revolve within our community, but we also try our best or do our best to support not just our community, but the rest of the people here in the Philippines and abroad. And Passionists also start plotting seminars and training programs that are essential for equipping the Passionist community members with the knowledge and skill and confidence needed to effectively respond to challenges and fulfill the mission of the Passionist charism. This program not only enhance personal and collective capabilities, but also ensure that the community remain resilient, proactive, and united in service. So one example that we actually had the safeguarding training conducted by Passionist Scholars. Um, Safeguarding trainings equip community members and they partner to create safe space. So we also try to, target the mental health of our people or the community. So especially those who's vulnerable for, this emotion, nowadays social media is attacking us like it's being, we're experiencing anxiety and all because of the news, because of what's going on around us, and also other environmental um, and social advocacy trainings. What else? But
It's very interesting that this group of Spring Rain Global, the various PDOs, are actually not addressing only the physical requirements of our stakeholders, of our evacuees, for instance, but in that they are being given food packs, prepositioning of food packs. They're being given the information and all the education about ecological balance so that they will be able to mitigate the risk of climate change, no, during disaster. But it's very interesting po, Ma'am Joanne, that you're already addressing also the psychosocial and psychosocial support and mental health needs, mental health wellness of requirements of our evacuees, of our victims. Um, are there, how many communities are you taking care of at the moment, if I may ask?
for the IP communities, we have 57, but for our congregation, we actually like have here in the north, we have Bataan, we have here in Parañaque, Bagong Silang, Caloocan. We also have there in the south. There's like a lot actually.
Are you collocated, are you collocated for wherever there is a there is a passionist congregation?
Yes.
Yes. How many
But we're
congregations are there in
there's
total?
just one congregation though, but here in the Philippines, I'm in the north, so I'm in the Parañaque community. But then we actually have two Passionist PDOs. We have here in the north and we have also in the south. So the
That's
south, we
great.
have the SOC Surgeon, and here in the north, we actually have like four.
Or you don't have Visayas. You have NCR, then Luzon, then Mindanao. Wala sa Visayas.
As of now, no. But then we're not just, going to
You're not
help.
limiting.
We're not limiting ourselves to Mindanao and the Luzon part. We are actually, as long as there is need, then we will do our best to be able to help them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. May we also hear from Jenny Matildo, the Chief Marketing Officer of Angkor Lab and Medical Center.
Hello,
Would you like
everyone.
to share with us your experiences? Yes, please.
Good evening to everyone. So, we are just new, no, in our operation here in Cebu City. So we are just 7 months old. Entering also to the PDO, I think this is our on that 3 months. However, we know there are certain areas that we have also to promote since we are focused more on health, but somehow analyzing things around us with regards to climate change, uh, since we just did it our no core group no to meet up just this morning, and to have the preparation also for this presentation, and we come up a collaboration work with our artists, the local artists with us, to support them in our advocacy through health and the mental, psycho-social mental health preparation. So that's a collaboration works for stakeholders also. So what we did, we go into the basic one, why these things happening, preparing our mindset to the environment. So that's how we started with our collaboration, preparedness, awareness. And of course, since hearing all the presentations with regards right now, I know there are also PDOs who are already very established regarding situations. But in our here in Cebu, and I think we are just badly hit with typhoon, with Odette, since it was not prepared yet well. That Tacloban also, and then siguro the Undoy no before, but it's not really like Luzon right now. Oh, what's happening right now around us? That it's really a passageway towards typhoon, earthquake, and the fault no within. They said ko makaingon. I cannot say also that sa Cebu City has been favored much with Senor Santo Niño, been protected with but comparing to what is happening right now, I can say it's milder compared to Luzon. No? So I think boils down with our PDO, since we are focused more on health. We are being prepared for that to help LGUs, because LGUs are doing it also in their perspective. But on how PDO can help, we would like to focus more on the basic, or let's go back to the basic mind setting. We will not destroy what God has been designed for us as a nature. And of course, the mindset is very important to every situation that may occur. So that's why we decided uh, to design our proposal to go back to the basic. So let's learn the basic again. It might be because of the digital world, it might be superseded, or it might be uh, how do I say that it might be neglected, no? Even just a small plastic that's connotes to destroy our environment, cutting trees to destroy environment, and small doings or small manners that we can talk about the community, the LGU, and of course the school. No, right now with a rising of um, mental health issues with regards to students, with regards to community, and ever within our households. I think bottom line is the discipline. It's always been the discipline within us. It all begin with us. And I think that's what we really wanted to connect with. No, that somehow with a psychosocial collaboration with psychometrician and artist, we can portray more if people has been traumatic experience through the awareness, through the arts therapy. We can convert it all those traumatic experience, disasters, resilience, to be resilient in a way of being aware of what is going on within around us and within our planet Earth. Right now, uh, um, generational gap between previous and now, that it evolves with Gen Z right now. So I think more on connecting, more on sharing, and really to tap again, I'll go back to the basic. It all boils down with the discipline. So we can help more people, we can help save lives if we really be imparted through awareness and information disseminations. It could be through our arts therapy, it could be with our socio-psychological assessment. And we are doing this right now physically and applicable to which we can tap. So with us, we have a core group forming it to deliver on what had been transpired on the drive to promote, to empower, and what will be our contribution to climate change and disaster.
Thank
That's
you
all.
very much, Mom Jenny.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
I was extremely saddened when we went on our relief operations. I actually drove alone together with 21 military trucks during the full of relief goods, no, during no in the aftermath of Typhoon Odette. And so from Luzon, we they all went to various areas, no. But it was the first time I was quite sad kasi when I crossed over to Negros, well, from Leyte, right, Leyte to Cebu, I was quite saddened because it was the first time that I've ever seen Cebu in total darkness. In total darkness. So you can't say, ma'am, na ano eh, nobody can say anymore that, you know, we're not vulnerable to to disasters. Kasi now, even areas that were previously not typhoon or flood prone are already being affected by, you know, extreme changes in climate. So uh, it's very important. I'm glad that you are collaborating with artists and psychometricians and addressing again mental health wellness. Mental health is very important. Sabi nga nila, mental health is real now, no? Sa mga Gen Zs. Maybe also hear from our other moderators. We've already heard from Tondo, Anchor Lab, and who's the other PDO? Is Sir Manuelito Aguilar from the Spring Rain Global Foundation. Maybe you can share with us, being the executive secretary to the CEO.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Quite clearly.
My name is Tops. I'm working with Father Gerald with the in the Spring Rain Global Foundation. I could share with you in two, should I say, two aspects of disaster that has to do with disasters. First, as a program manager of an integrated disaster management program, and second, in the capacity of a survivor, a victim of prevalent floods in my home, in my community here in Montalban, Rizal. So both of these are more of theoretical and experiential in a way. Well, as a program manager from in managing disaster management, for an onset, I have like two tenets. One, begin with what the people have. What do I mean? Most often, issues and problems in the community, people are already aware of it and they've been dealing with that all their lives. So the most credible source of information would be the local people, especially the elderly ones. Now, so some of the approaches that we employ would be, most especially, is the participatory approach on risk assessments. So within the people's experience and awareness, it's not more of a technical person coming into the community and telling people that, hey, from these maps, from the geosciences lab department, I can tell you that you're in a landslide prone area. You should vacate the place. No, it's not that way. It's people uh, doing the journey of data gathering and self-awareness is built amongst them during the process. What's covered in that process, in that exercise, would be the culture, which is very important in risk assessments. The geo influence, like in the upper north, it's colder than the lower south and the Visayas. The local resources, some of the local resources, you would be surprised that they're even there and they're not being maximized by the government. Governance is very important, that you should lobby and for policy change and formation and inclusion as well. If I may put down this in the barangay level, ordinary mothers will be part of the research party, which then be conducting risk assessments in partnership with the government. No? So some of the methodologies would be like transect mapping. People would walk the way or walk the talk, and then along the way they would point out that nung araw itong dagat malayo pa eh, but now it seems so close. It's right in front of my door now, and so they'd be realizing of siltation at the river and etc. So it's really important for that first tenet to begin with what the people have. Now with the risk assessment done and in collaboration with the government, we can now build on their strength. It's not more of a realizing that these are the risks that we have in our barangay, and then can you come and help us? No, it's more of, okay, now we do now realize that this is a threat, and we're going to, and it's just a time bound clicking. So what do we do about it? No, so some of the methodologies would come to surface would be collective people's action. Papasok dito yung mga social capital, investment made by relationships from it's either product tending or selling business and relationship with the other communities nearby, and that is really more important before asking help from the external agencies. Rather begin with the people understanding where they are and what's the potential risk that they are facing, and steer that that Filipino culture of bayanihan and goes to action and beef up for engagement with governance and policy formation, etc. So that's more of my experience in managing a community-based risk management that will be pre, actual, and post disaster management. Some of which projects would entail at the end would be definitely housing, because if you look at the map in Google Map, you would notice, and even the report from these recent typhoons, the most affected areas that has created devastations are communities along the shoreline. Now, along the shoreline and along the ridge of a mountain. Why is that? Now, along the shoreline, there's a law establishing 20 meters from the shoreline inwards as the salvage zone. Now it varies, no? In the urban area, 3 meters. So if you see a road and on the hillside there would be houses, di ba may mga bahay pa dyan sa riprap ng dagat? Now they're actually living in the salvage zone, and in the urban areas it's, I think, 3 meters. You shouldn't be there. So why are these devastation caused by malaki mga devastation made? Because from the start, people are left to mend their ways in putting up houses in the no-build zone, in the salvage zone. So it has to do with governance, with political influences. It has to do with ano ba yung laging sinasabi ng mga politiko? Political will, so to speak. No? But it doesn't end that, because political will is a patronizing strategy of mga trapo. But if you build community, organized community, and influential enough to engage governance in a dialogue, kahit na sa barangay development council, represent themselves, that would take you a mile away in terms of infusing disaster mitigation projects. Yung pagpapariprap lang ng tabi ng ilog kaysa sa paglalagay ng mga street sign na nagkadubli-dubli na at saka mga street lights is more effective because people are engaged. So that's the gist of what the disaster integrated disaster management, you know.
Would you say that, may I call on our panelists, if you can share how what strategies can you employ or you can share with us that will be that will make it easier for you to mobilize resources? Because since I'm in the mapping, in the preparedness area, no, or even before the disaster, we're able to get scientific and engineers, scientific and uh, you know, scientific assessments of the areas that are flooded and that have landslides. Actually, the whole of the Philippines already have geohazard maps from the MGB, up to 1 is to 50,000. And even the last of which, na wala pa talagang maps, is,
Yes.
for example, sa BARM. Specifically,
Yeah.
kami po ang nagmapa nun. And yet, even
Yeah.
with the presence of those maps, one, we still need to prepare for worst case scenarios, because the maps are
Yeah.
merely just based on forecast, previous incidences, and although it's based on a scientific assessment, and it's based on science and engineering, uh, like we said, it's already climate change. For instance, I'll give you a perfect example. Bicol, for instance, the very recent Typhoon Christine, it's mapped already for being uh, highly susceptible to flooding because of the Bicol River Basin, which is even 10 times worse than Marikina River Basin. And yet, we were not prepared in the LGUs. Probably we were not prepared to do WASAR, to do water rescue operations. We were not equipped to do water rescue operations. If you think about it, we need to bring our evacuees to
Yeah.
evacuation centers. But the whole of Naga, for instance, the whole of Bula, a lot of municipalities were underwater.
Yes.
So where would you bring them? That's why the importance of the maps, I can never underestimate,
Yeah.
emphasize the importance of the maps. Because based on science, you will be able to identify evacuation centers that are not based on non-science, that are based
Amen.
on political favors. Rather,
Amen.
you will be able to identify areas that will not be prone to the flooding that you're trying to that are forecasted, right?
I
So,
do agree. Yeah, I do agree with you, Miss Gia, that what the people you cannot give what you don't have. What the people don't
mm-mm,
have is the technology and the science behind collective action, and I agree with you. That's why there's a
mm-mm,
secondary data collection that is coming from the government counterparts, which is the MDRRMO on the local level. Now, most often, alam mo, Ma'am Gia, we realize
apo,
that these maps are yes mapped out using satellite, using engineering precisions. But when you validate that on the ground,
mm-mm.
it tells another story. People would say na, alam mo, Tox, kaya naman kasi lumaki yung ilog niyan dahil pinatay nila yung kabilang ilog doon. So, what the map
Yon,
represents,
yon.
there is a tributary
I
river back there.
agree.
But the local people, when you bring the map down, they would say, mali yan, Tox. They would contest you on that, and then, okay, sige, tara, puntahan natin. Show me.
That's
And then
why,
there are other geo influences like may mga water table that are up in the mountain, springs coming from rocks, continuous supply of water. And pag nagda-downpour yung gubat, and because of deforestation again, dati triple ngayon yung bumabagsak na tubig and siltation sa papuntang river mouth sa dagat. that in itself would affect the coral reefs and the oceans where they take on their food. So most of this really, the technology and the collective action of people results to a more uh, real time, accurate, and with a because you cannot really agree on things that are not are science based. And I do believe that, but culture plays a vital role in risk management as well. No, so what I'm just saying, ma'am, is that when we build communities' resilience, it should be within their capacity, within their awareness, and bring them into a level that they can themselves engage in finding resolutions to their issues and their risks. No? And on the other part, again, I could share with you yung mga tips and don'ts ng mga isang victim or survivor ng mga flood. I do agree with the panic bag, but I realized when nung Ulysses, ang bilis tumaas ng tubig sa amin. I don't know if the new dam in Montalban is causing it. But when I grabbed the panic bag, nalaglag, nabasa because it's just a bag. So then I realized na, are you familiar with yung timba ng mga pintura, paint pail? These are really
Yes,
seal
yes,
type
Sir
pail
Manoli.
and very sturdy, makapal na plastic. You put in there what you need during evacuation or when you need to go, and but you have to monitor its content every now and then.
Baka
Take
expired
it.
na.
Take it. Nung inabutan ako, ma'am, nung hanggang baywang na, naging salbabida ko pa.
Oh.
More effective yung pail, no? Yeah, and don't believe that they turn off the electricity once the government has sound the horn for uh, flood warning, no? Kasi more often than not, compromise na yung mga electrical services lines ng Meralco due to these tappings, due to this marami silang mga
Right,
ano. So
right.
you cannot really guarantee that. So when things are really looking not good, turn it off for your safety and all.
So I'm
So I
glad,
think
Sir
that's
Manolito, that you mentioned all of these because this gives that perspective of, yes, there's already a national geohazard mapping uh, completed of the whole Philippines, but then we have to bring it to the local level, to the regional level, to the local level, and even to the community level. So maging community-based ang mapping mo. And you can use that map if I may say so, even in your rapid needs assessment. You can even map it so it's easier to understand instead of numbers in a table. And if your approach is a community based mapping on preparedness, on allocating resources, on evac centers, even on collaboration, sinong tutulong kanino. This LGU is not able to help themselves anymore, so tutulong na yung ibang munisipyo. You can plan ahead. You can use this community-based information and put it in maps, and you can plan ahead and help each other out.
yes, ma'am.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And so, would you say then that there is a need then for stronger collaboration on the community level? And how does Spring Rain Global come in and able to and can assist in this area, especially in the with the challenges that you mentioned? How can we empower change during this 100 days campaign?
Yeah.
Would you
I
like to
think
start with that, or let's ask the others first?
okay. Yeah.
Ikaw na
Let's
agad.
give them a chance. But I have
Sige
something
po.
with that
Father
concern.
Gerald, how would you, what's your view on this?
Thank you, Ms. Gia. I think I'm wearing the hat of the CEO of the Sergio Foundation that is tasked to ensure that we have enough capacity to respond to all these things and
Yes.
the resources that we need, and also the operationality and applicability of everything that we intend to do. I think there are several things that we can do as an ecosystem, which is still part of my dream, part of our maybe strategic direction. Number one is I think it would be good for us as an ecosystem because I was listening to everybody. I think there's just so much to learn from each other. From my end, I think it would be good if we could you know, spend time for each one of us to really dwell into the individual ecosystem initiatives, systems and processes in disaster mitigation, preparedness, and response. So I think our whole ecosystem can be reached, and from there, I think we can start to put together the available resources and how the ecosystem can help each other. Like, I think you were mentioning which LGU, or in this case, which PDO can help the other PDO that will most probably be affected by like fire, by flooding, by earthquake, etc., etc. So I think moving forward, I think I see that it would be good if we could have like an inventory of all the things that we have, and the risk we are in the geographic locations that we are established. The other one is I think we going back to mindset. I think one of the things that we need to change really is that parochial mindset. And I think the Filipino way of always looking at what can I do, what can I receive, how can I get resources. But I think what SRG would like to happen in all the SRG PDO ecosystem is that we become donors. We become donors, finances. We become donors of experiences, wisdom, and knowledge. And we become donors even in terms of volunteers, either the PDO itself or the members or the communities that we are handling or partnering with. So I think these are the things that we need also to focus on, the change of mindset. That, like for instance, Father Ray would have a very good experience of how it is to prevent fire, to address fire, and to live with that with that in their community. That fear, that risk of always the possibility of being affected by fire. And I'm sure there are other communities within or so to speak, under the SRG PDO ecosystem. So I think that specific experience, being an urban area, can be of big help in enriching the knowledge and the wisdom of another PDO that would capacitate them to be prepared and to respond to disasters. The other one I think is Virac is always or has always been the national highway of typhoon. National Highway of Typhoon. So I think they would also be in the best position to help us. And I know they are also technically equipped to handle these things. So I think these are the things that we need to do as an ecosystem, to have a pool of resources that we can utilize so that they become donors of their knowledge, skills, and competencies so that other PDOs can learn from. And finally, I think it would be good for all of us to become donors financially. Again, I think we have always been, for the longest time, we have always been looking at how much can I get? When can I get the money, the help? But I think we should shift gears, shift mindset. How can I give? What can I give? How much and can I give? And to whom can I give? Because I think SRG consultancy and the Holy Spirit of 7-pillar capacitation model would be useless if we don't end up to become donors to our other PDOs and larger society. So I think, which I know is difficult, but I think that's the best way forward for all of us, that we have that mindset, so that if we are generous, if our mindset is to give, then we would be very, very resilient, and we can easily and effectively respond to different situations, especially disasters and calamities. So I think those are just the things wearing the hat of the CEO of the SRG PDO Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Gerald. Maybe hear again from Tondo, from is Father still there? Maybe you'd like
I'm
to
here, but
share.
I would just like also to ask Father
Okay, Father Ray.
John Lian, because John Lian didn't talk yet. No? Can we give
John?
chance also for John? Yes. from
Oh, okay.
Caritas Verac.
Thank you po, Father. Good evening po sa lahat. On behalf of
evening.
Father Atoy, Reverend Father Renato de la Rosa, our Director of Caritas Verac. Good evening po sa lahat. Siguro share ko lang po yung sa amin dito sa Catanduanes. Before po mag-hit yung bagyo, 4 days before is nag-prepare na po kami lahat. So naglalagay ng mga typhoon guard sa mga bintana, sa pinto. Actually, mostly na bahay dito is yung bintana nila design na talagang pwedeng lagyan ng typhoon guard. No po. At siguro isa din yung sa mga ano namin dito is yung pinagawa namin na RSVP. Actually, yung tawag namin dyan, Resilient Shelter for Vulnerable and Poor. Ngayon na Typhoon Pipito, masaya po ako na nakasurvive po sila at hindi naman po nasira yung talagang 3x6 na model shelter namin na pinagawa. Halos po nasa 772 po siya na shelter sa buong province po nakakalat ng Catanduanes. So yun po, actually pinagawa namin yun sa talagang mga mahihirap, yung mga malayo sa evacuation center kasi hindi naman lahat sa province ng Catanduanes merong evacuation center. So ang ginawa namin, nagbigay kami ng pabahay sa kanila para sa ganyan pong sitwasyon. So ngayon po sa yung recent pa lang kay Typhoon Pipito, ah nagkaroon po kami ng collaboration from the LGU, yung sa government, sa taas, from PDRMO, MDRMO, hanggang down to barangay level po. So yung communication po namin, tawag yan, nagkakalat lang po kami nagsisend po kami ng data sa lahat po ng area na ano sa buong province po ng Catanduanes. So maliban po doon, nag-ano din po si Bishop Lu, yung bagong bishop po namin sa Diocese of Verac. Nag-advise po siya sa mga parish priest na yung simbahan po is gawin din pong evacuation center. Kung maano nyo po, kung i-imagine nyo po, ang Catanduanes is isang isla po. No, mostly na barangay is nasa coastal area. So, yung Typhoon Pipito, yung sa northern part, sa east ng isla ng Catanduanes, ano kami na possible merong magkaroon ng storm surge. So nagkaroon po ng storm surge 2 days before. 2 days and 1 day before mag-hit po yung bagyo. Tapos pero pagdating ng bagyo is wala pong hindi po tumaas yung dagat. So pasalamat din po kami kasi hindi po masyadong nagkaroon ng baha, pero yung hangin talaga na ano nila na madaming nasiraan sa parting north, mga Karamuran, Pandan, Bagamanok, Igmoto and Baras. Then after that, after ng bagyo, kung meron man pong mga tawag dyan, mga na totally damaged, hindi na yan pinapaabutan ng kinaumagahan. Tinatayo na yan through salvage materials silang nakukuha. So, kahit halimbawa ako nasiraan, yung kapitbahay ko is tutulong po sila para makagawa po ako. Kaya kung meron man darating na tulong kung sa pabahay, is nakatayo na po yung bahay nila. Kahit salvage materials lang po. So, ganun po ang ano namin, kasi ka-resilient yung mga taga-Catanduanes po. At the same time po, kung sa livelihood naman po, mayroon kaming tinatawag na anticipatory action na nagkakaroon po ng early harvesting po yung iba. No po? So sa early harvesting po, for example sa abaka, sa rice field, in-harvest na po nila yon. Kahit yung iba is hindi pa masyadong kailangan i-harvest, kailangan talaga yung in-harvest na nila. Kahit konti, meron silang makuha. So as a preparedness din and resilience po ng mga taga-Katandunganon. And yung kay Father Manolito po na sinasabi niya pong anticipatory approach, meron din po sa amin dito sa area, 7 municipality po na sinuportahan po ng IOM and World Food Program para po sa anticipatory action na 3 days before, yung magkakaroon po sila ng activation. Pero sad to say po dito sa Typhoon Pipito is hindi po naabot yung threshold po nila. No po. Pero ang ano naman is na alert din na bigyan din ng information yung beneficiary na magkakaroon ng bagyo. So na-prepare naman po nila yung mga kanilang mga bahay. So ang ano nila is yung sa shelter strengthening na tinuro namin. So karamihan naman po is na di naman po na totally damaged. Nagkaroon lang ng partially damaged. Kahit light materials lang yung bahay niya. Ano po? Then, ano pa? Yun, nabanggit ko na.
Mr. John,
Yes po.
mag-agree ka ba na nung na-prepare yung community, mas lesser yung naging extent ng damage?
Yes po. Agree po ako doon.
Mas more if they are capacitated to shoulder or to take on bigger roles, no, other than taking care of their own household. Diba?
Yes. Yes po. Agree po ako doon, Padre. At saka po, yung sinasabi nga na yung pag sa environment naman po, actually po, sa ngayon, pinaplano po namin na magkaroon din po ng mangrove planting. Kasi sa ano namin, mostly dito, meron kami mga area na talagang mabubuhayan po siya ng mangrove. Tapos pinaplano po ng Caritas Birac na hindi lang sa LGU magkaroon ng contingency planning at ng DRR. So ang plano namin is magkaroon din po ang kada parish and mission church na magkaroon po ng DRR plan and contingency planning po para po sa ganito pong mga sitwasyon. Bali yun lang po, sir. Salamat po.
Thank you very much po, Sir John. We're very glad na hindi ganun kalaki yung ano ng Pepito sa inyo, no? And more so because you have been prepared as a community and you conducted anticipatory measures, no, in order to mitigate the effects, the adverse effects of the disaster. Ang isang challenge po natin, I know that everyone is saying that collaboration is important, but one of the challenges also with collaborating with the LGUs is that when we give the donors, when we give the donations rather, and the relief goods, theoretically, ang SOP po niyan, pag ipapadaan sa LGUs, ipapadaan sa provincial, i-check in po natin lahat yan. Pag check in na po natin lahat yan, naka-centralize na po yan sa probinsya or sa city or sa munisipyo. Once naka-check in na po yan, ang tanging merong authority to disburse or to allocate the donations, the resources, or the relief goods that have been given, yung munisipyo, yung provincial, and in a highly politicized area, nagkakaroon po ng mga instances na pati yung mga distribution ng relief goods is also being used for political to achieve yung political favors, 'di ba? Nagkakaroon po ng mga sometimes nilalagyan nila ng tatak na galing na ito sa whoever the politician is. And the ones who can only receive those ayudas and donations are those who are in the favor of whoever is in charge or is incumbent, no? This is a sad thing, but it happens. And I've seen it firsthand even during Typhoon Christine. So, what do you say, Father Gerald? Baka ito po ang opportunity sinasabi ni Father Gerald where
I-share
there
lang
is
siguro ko
already an
tungkol.
ecosystem of PDOs. Baka naman pwede na tayong mag-plan ahead. 'Di ba? Yung sa ecosystem ng PDOs ng Spring Rain Global, mag-plan ahead, we can coordinate, we can collaborate already, even this early, even before a disaster, so that yung mga challenges na encounter natin during disasters, ma-address. I don't know if this is within the mandate of Spring Rain Global, but it's a proposal, especially coming from us in this forum, I think. So, who else would like to share? What about si Ma'am Jenny? Meron pa po kayong i-share on your needs for empowering change, especially during this 100-day campaign?
Yes po. I was just hearing all those exchange of experiences, no, from worst to not worst. So I just wrote down something when Father Gerald was talking about change. Of course, it boils down with mindset, each and every one mindset. So that's why I'm just connecting this to the basic principle. Let's go back to the basic. This is really true since it saddens when we heard news coming over when this ayudas coming in out to those who cannot receive, no, if there's people it's only aligned politically or whatever, so it's a good thing that there is already ecosystem, and through our channels of, if not the religious groups, can also be a channel of distributions of grace, no, to each, and it can really reach to the people involved and has been affected. So as for the collaboration, I have written it here down. Since we are already an ecosystem, we experience worst scenario, worst experience. So I was putting it that in every ecosystem, we experience fire preparedness. So maybe those areas has been affected so much on what's the causes of the fire in preparation to our preparedness. Maybe it can also channel down the how the best practices is what I really wanted to highlight. Best practice of naging naging because of fire drill, preparedness, what are the things that they are done that the ecosystem can also be following it up, can be channeled also to other, it might hit, no, to the place with fire also. That's one. Second, with flood, the most experience who among the flood area in the ecosystem has the most experience with regards to this matter, it can also be channeled best practices, no, in the preparation. Another thing is the earthquake or the volcanic eruptions. So since geographically, as I've heard it many times, the mapping, preparedness and everything. So again, best practices to this area that we can also be channeled through ecosystem. And another thing is tsunami. This can be heard around, but best practices also, we have heard so much with Thailand, the worst, so at least in the Philippines, since we are a geographical and a coastal area also, though hindi pa natin na-experience the tsunami, but we should be also be preparing for this matter. Best practices. Then the thing that we just experienced, the pandemic. What if there is worst scenario again, in the world that we does not know, and being prepared much more on the pandemic things that happen again all over the world. So are we ready to this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 disasters preparedness? So again, it's a matter of mindset. Again, the best practices that we can have channeled to each ecosystem. And we could be a very good channel because we are a private entity. We are not mandated under the government sector. However, we are following mandate, but somehow with our own initiative, we can do much greater in the glory of God, in the glory of each person, again, to value everything that we had right now. So again, it boils down again to discipline and to the mindset of people. So if we can collaborate each other with our best practices, I hope we can also be a good contributors, no? So Parang hindi na natin makikita na may problema na. There's always been hope after all these things that is happening around us. So the hope is there. Everything, no? So kaya natin ito. Laban
Thank
lang.
you very much. Thank you very much, Ma'am Jeannie. Father Gerald, parang kulang yung ating Zoom conference. Parang humihingi na to ng summit, ng workshop,
Yes, yes.
disaster
True.
preparedness
Agree.
amongst
Yep.
the PDOs para we can,
Yes.
like you said, pool our resources together, yung strength ng bawat isang PDO, ma-assess natin, ma-inventory natin, and then eventually, during a disaster, magkatulungan tayo within the ecosystem pa
Yes.
lang. Ang dami na nating
Yes.
pwedeng maging
Yeah,
collaborators.
Jay, may share ako. Sorry.
Oh, sige, Father, yes.
Kasi here in Tondo, as I've told you, that we are so much dense here, especially in our Islam area. And I agree with Father Talks. It's really very important not only to blame politicians, but first to think what we have. No?
Yeah.
I think what we have are the people, and we have to prepare them. As also the experience of John, if we can prepare our people, then we can lessen also the effect of the disaster. And also another thing that we can ask also, what I've experienced here in SRG, I believe it's not yet. I agree with Father Gerald also. We have to shift our thinking, nilang hingi-hingi, but also to strive hard how we can also share. Because if we want to have blessing, we have to be blessing ourselves. Until we will not realize that, so napakahirap darating din ang biyaya. And recently, I visited also our PDO and our foundation in Singapore, and sharing our stories. They have given us, suggesting us this small technology. I think I can, maybe one day I can share to Father Gerald this one. This is a
Ano yan, Father?
very handy fire retardant.
Ah.
And it's very small, but it can, you are 7 meters, but you can put off the fire. And it's good also because this is plant-based, no? And so it's not hazardous. So I hope we can also campaign with this. There is a friend of our SRG director also in Singapore, that hopefully we can have funds that can help us in different PDOs. We can really campaign, especially in the slum area in my part, that every community, at least they have something like this one, because it's very handy and also not so expensive. We can share this to every community. At least they have one in every 10 houses. They can put off the fire right away. So I think that is what also I experience. I'm happy to be with SRG in our ecosystem, because I believe we are not really working alone. Sharing our experiences, sharing our best practices, and the mission is not really parang tayo lang nagdala, no? But with SRG, I can feel that we are together in this, working in our mission. I just want to share, in one of the poorest area we have, I tried to share with them that many times we receive a lot when we have disaster. So I encourage them during the mass to be aware. I told them, you've received so much, no? What can you give also back to the places that are really in need, no? And you know, the most inspiring that I saw, kung sino pa yung mahirap, when they realize, sila pa ang nag-ikot, nagkolekta, and then they give also. And I think it is important also as a leader, that we have to be aware, not only to see that people are just after of receiving ayuda. When we can empower them, I believe they can also rise up and to be a donor themselves, no? And I think also the leaders have to shift also the mentality. It's not about the amount that you can have, that you can give. But I think what we are sharing to them is their own capacity to be empowered to stand up also. And this is what really I experienced here in Tondo, kahit na mahirap. But I saw some communities are little by little also standing up how we can also help others. Even we are also in need, but in times also this situation, we can also help others, other people, even outside of our communities. So I'm so glad we have this conference, we have this uh, uh, this forum. Yeah, I believe we have to do something. And unfortunately, we have also big, especially this election. Recently, we have a huge fire.
Oh
2006
no.
families lost their homes.
Oh
But you
no.
saw amazing. In just 3 weeks, they were able to stand up, rebuild again, because a lot of politicians are going there. And just imagine
Tumulong.
one of the victim. He told me that he received around 100,000. So from the single floor, now he has 3 floors now. So naging mayaman tuloy, no? Because a lot of politicians are going there, a lot picture. So it's sad, so sad for me. So now hindi sila aalis because they receive so much also with this ayuda. They are also exploited so much. No, I think what we can do is really to start with them. Although it will take a lot of time, but I believe to start the seed planting, uh, empowering them, they can do something. Hindi lang kayo parasites, you are also partners how we can help each other. So in SRG, you are working not alone in the mission, but we are working together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father. What about Miss Joanne? Can we hear from you any last words on how we can sustain rehabilitation efforts after a disaster, maybe, and how we can use this opportunity to empower change through the 100 days campaign?
Actually, ma'am, ang ang province at ang mga NGO ay nagkaroon po ng desk sa probinsya. Tinatawag namin siyang Anticipatory Action Desk na lahat ng papasok po sa Catanduanes ng mga NGOs or mga UN na magdo-donate or may mga project is dadaan po doon para hindi po magkaroon ng duplication sa kada area para mahati-hati po ng maayos. So pag ano naman sa mga politician is wala na po sila doon. Kumbaga hindi na sila dadaan doon sa ano sa province. Kumbaga magko-courtesy na lang sa desk na ginawa po namin. Actually si Father Atoy po ang parang chair sa NGO ng Anticipatory Action Desk na para hindi po magkaroon ng duplication sa community o sa kada munisipyo po. So isa po yun sa mga practices namin ngayon na ginagawa na po namin before pa mag-hit itong mga bagyong ito. Yun lang po, ma'am.
Actually, we understand yung importance ng nai-inventory and nadi-distribute uh, equitably yung resources, especially yung mga donations in areas and in communities where they are needed the most. So I'm glad you're lucky in Catanduanes. Wala kayong ganon.
May bagyo kami,
Wala
ma'am.
kayong mga abusive officials na.
Wala
We're
pa, ma'am.
very lucky, thank God. Meron daw follow through si Father Tops. So,
Yes,
Father,
thank you.
go ahead.
Lay person lang po ako, father
Ay,
of many
ganun ba?
children.
O, sige po.
I'd like to follow through with Father Ray. Thank you for bringing that up. My God, it's a very nice material for a social enterprise, you know. I mean, napakadaling manghingi sa benefactors ng ganyang kaliit na bagay that yung value niya is life-saving and property, di ba? I mean, magkano lang isa niya. But I think every household should have something like that. If you seen the recent fire in Commonwealth, people are still not educated to throw pails of water into the fire. you're lalo mo lang ginagalit yung apoy, kaya namamatay yung apoy dahil sa pressure ng hose ng fireman, not because of the water. Di ba pag nagluluto tayo, pag may tubig yun, nagtitilamsikan, nagpapasok pa sa loob ng yung apoy. So that in itself, kung mahirapan tayong mag-build ng awareness and education, bigyan sila ng fire extinguisher na ganyan kaliit. Thank you, Father Ray, for that. Magpa-follow up kami sa iyo ni Father Gerald.
Isama
Social
natin
enterprise.
exhibit, sir. I-exhibit natin sa disaster summit.
Yeah, this is very good
DRRM
because
summit.
this is plant-based. This is very good. Hopefully, I can share also this one.
Organic. Yes,
Parang
Father.
insecticide
Yeah,
sprayer lang. Father,
maliit lang,
pakayas-kayas sa
yeah.
bag.
Very simple. You can just put anywhere in the houses. Then you can share. Actually, it's coming from one of our friends, of the director in Singapore, the friend of Vincent. So we can share this one. Hopefully, one of these days we can meet.
Father Gerald, yes, you've raised your hand. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I would just like to maybe to add to what Father Ray mentioned, and maybe to give meat to what I mentioned earlier. I think there is so much power within the ecosystem that we need to
Yeah.
unleash. I call our ecosystem a sleeping giant. I think there's so much that we can do together as an ecosystem, and really operationalize all the things that we are saying, like
Yes.
ecosystem building. So when we say that, how do we operationalize it? I think I would just like to highlight during the recent typhoon, Christine. Unfortunately, we were overtaken by another typhoon, which is, I think, is stronger than the previous one. But let me just share with you, Christine, Typhoon Christine. I'd like maybe to share with you. I think it's worth mentioning. I hope I will not forget the PDOs who donated for the victims of Typhoon Christine.
Christine.
I think, and they are not the known rich philanthropic development offices. They are just maybe a champion but not a rich, or maybe rich but simple lang sila. Let me just mention with you, because during the last typhoon we were able to generate 80,000, and that 80,000 there were only like 4 or 5 PDOs that donated. The ASOLC, Father Ray, nayan mo sabihin, but also Father Ray, the Magical Mission also donated. Was this Oath PDO also donated? Who else? Ano pa nga ba yung talks? Mga 4 o 5 yun eh.
Passionist.
Yeah, Passionist also
Passionist
donated.
po. Yeah.
Yes, Passionist. So there were, I think, 4 that donated. So yun, 4 pa lang yun, and we're already able to generate 40,000. Imagine our capacity and power if you could do that, if we can do that as a habit, that we don't have to wait for a calamity to happen. We just put in funds so that we will be very flexible and flexible to deploy the funds when needed and where it is needed. So I think it's just maybe to highlight very important initial initiative and endeavor of the SRG PDO ecosystem together with SRG Foundation. Again, maybe put that in human resources, in competencies. I think the best practices, and I agree with you, we can put that as one of in the pipeline as one of our future activities in terms of summits and conferences. I think disaster mitigation response can be a very good topic. I think for the information of everybody, we have like a summit or a conference on homelessness and the race to net zero in the pipeline. But I think we can do that as maybe one of the third conference that we can have, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. So I think, and that can be a conference where we can gather all our experiences, gather all our how do you corporate experiences, and then and our competencies as well, best practices and wisdom in dealing with disasters. So and then maybe that conference can be a conference where we can see how can we how can other PDOs learn from this, how can we operationalize disaster preparedness and mitigation and response ecosystem way. So yeah, that's one. The other one that I like maybe to highlight is I used to be part of a nonprofit organization in Quezon City, and I think in my experience, maybe I've come to a point that the government will always no, I don't know if I can say this. There will always be corrupt government officials, and it will always be very difficult dealing with them, either individually, per office, or the government itself. But I think we have no other way but to collaborate and to coordinate with them and to engage them in whatever way we can possibly do. Like for instance, I think legally, the different numbers, maybe this is one of the best practices of what I'm hearing right now is the collaboration between the Philanthropic Development Office together and with the government agencies. So I think this is one area where we can work with government. Of course, realistic that we cannot really reach the ideal, maybe not in our life, not even in our lifetime. So, but basically work with what we can possibly do together with the government. The other one is, I think, is the rights-based framework, which would, give us use the framework where it is the right of the people. So, which means access resources from the local government. So, I think this is another area that we can do, and I think there are many things from the elderly, children with special needs, and even disaster preparedness. There are funds, even in social enterprise, the DOST, the et cetera, et cetera. So there are a lot of things that we can access from the government, at least to make them feel and maybe to make them responsible for the things that they're supposed to be doing in the first place.
In the
Uh,
first place, yes.
yeah, so I think these are just the things that maybe just a mindset to be very realistic. We can never find an ideal, official. Maybe it's very difficult, and then it will be very difficult to get an ideal government agency. But I think with the limited, with the reality, the context we're in, I think kahit paano may makukuha tayo. And then hopefully, eventually, with that interaction and convergence, magkakaroon ng pagbabago sa lipunan. Kasi sometimes our mindset is to push the government to do what we think is right, and then maybe to push them to reach that ideal situation that we picture or we see should be or should have. Pero yun na mahirap eh. Nakadikit yan sa lahat eh. So, but I think just engage them, build trust with them, and possible yung collaboration, and even possible yung pagbabago sa lipunan with that mindset. Again, ang dami namin experiences regarding that, and especially if we are a faith-based organization, I think we can use that social capital in maybe how they call it, influencing government officials, policymakers to come up with policies that would benefit the poor communities and people.
Thank you very much, Father Gerald. I think it's very interesting how this discussion has progressed because interestingly, while kami mappers po, mappers for geohazard, nag-responders, we have a loose group of first responders, no? And unfortunately, we were not yet part of the SRG group back then. But during Typhoon Christine, we had, being from the construction sector, we also had people who donated, but we were not prepositioned kung kanino namin ibibigay yung donations. So in fact, buti na lang we had friends in Caritas in Bicol, sila Father Mark Real. We don't know who the PDOs were. After that, tsaka ko na-meet si Doc Glenda. And that's when I met you. So sayang kung nakalala na namin kayo beforehand, sana we could have worked together already. So maybe we can go on the key takeaways on our topic for tonight, disaster risk reduction, preparedness talks. Start with
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Miss Gia. Pasensya, I talk too much. But I only have one takeaway, very simple. Pero gasgas na ito salita, empowered PDOs. Now, I'd like to give justice a word empowered, no? Because it's always been, sometimes it has become vague to understand what's empowered really. So I have an equation. There's only two factors in my equation. Educate plus capacitate equals behavioral change. Now if you notice, talks na sa anong resources dyan na-educate mo, na-capacitate mo, yun wala man di anda. So walang pondo, wala rin papuntahan. I beg to disagree because if people change behavior because of they are elevated the awareness, they are given the set of skills in order for them to address the problems that they face, find solutions for their own problems, no? Be the primary movers of their own situation, then resource mobilization comes within it. Alam mo yung mga local cake raffle lang para sa Marinduque na realize ko nagparapol ng red ribbon para pinambili ng waterproof na fog light na to be issued to the local neighborhood disaster watchdogs, no? And community based programs, no, sa disaster response, napaka-high ng volunteer turnout niyan, no? Because disasters that foreign to local people, they have been living with that all their life. Tapos si Dudong, Day, mag-volunteer tayo sa disaster, kaya bibigyan tayong flashlight. O sige, punta tayo doon, kaya akalaki ng volunteer turnout, which exemplify your forces into, kasi ang mga bombero, ilan lang naman sila, mga police, di ba? So mga ganon, MDRRMO, they are limited, no? But these are highly mobile volunteers na may resources, may connection, may power. Yung tao lang, power na yan eh, no? And they're free. Kapi lang, ayos na, no? Then sa disaster response, I also noticed from my own experience na kahit nabaha din yung mga tropa, makapaglinis na ng konti, maglalakad na kami sa ibang mga bahay para tulungan yung ibang bahay na maglinis, magano ng putik, mag-segregate. And sadly, from my experience, pagkatapos ng baha, Ma'am Gia, here comes yung mga looters. They take advantage of the situation, and then ito pa yung mga hindi naman nabaha, pipila din sa amin na nagbibigay ng mga relief. And so all of these are really have to be managed on your post-disaster management. You have to consider that. And then sa post-disaster, ma'am, na witness ko rin yung bayanihan recovery. Yan. Yung mga single parent na may 6 na anak, hindi makapagpako man lang ng isang pako at walang martilyo, the community comes to rally to her to help her build their house, no? Sa clearing operations, hindi ka na kinakailangan mag-utos. Lalabas na yung mga tatay, may dala-dalang sundang, pagtagayin yung mga punong naputol, no? And most important, yung sustainability nito at yung capacity nito to replicate. Sustainable siya kasi na-embed na ito sa community. And it's a virus. Mabilis kumalat yan. Nagkita lang yung 2 marites sa tabo sa palengke sa bayan. Uy, na-plus flood. No, na-plus flood pala kayo. Gusto mo mag-seminar kami dyan sa inyo ng watchdog, disaster watchdog. Oh. I mean, the technology is now being transferred by them because they've been living in it, because they have changed, their behavior have changed from passive participants to active participants in community change. Thank you. Now that's it. That's the last one, promise.
Thank you, Tox.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have a lot of key takeaways from you, Tox. Thank you very much for that. John, key takeaways.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ma'am Jimmy.
I really do appreciate yung mga sinabi ni Kuya Tox that we should always start with awareness and education we'll start from our community. So, and also I also appreciate Miss Jenny that we should go back to the basic kasi we always need to be disciplined enough to be able to start. Yung discipline kasi it starts within us eh. Like simpleng pagtapon lang ng basura. Like yung candy, balat ng candy lang. We should be able to, be disciplined enough. Kasi we know the risk if yung 10,000 tayo tapos magtapon tayo ng mga basura kung saan-saan and it will cause flood. So we should start it within ourselves. And also I appreciate Father Gerald's shifting gear. And actually it is actually the first year that I have encountered SRG, and I really appreciate yung effort ng SRG and their campaigns, especially this empowered change campaign, because been with boot camp workshops, and it really helped PDO a lot to be able to be equipped and to start to learn to be sustainable in supporting our advocacies, but hoping soon we could be able to shift gears and hindi lang tayo sa sarili nating community mag-support, and we could be able to give in the whole ecosystem, not just within ours. So that's something to look forward to. So we must be able to, be able to sustain to the point that we could be able to shift gears. And also, kasi yung blessing is not a blessing if it stays within our hands. It should be given, and it should be, dumami dapat siya. Hindi lang sa kumbaga parang it's something that we should share. So we could be able to call it a blessing. And Sir John, yun, I was amazed to hear the story about how people stand up immediately after a disaster. Yung kinuwento mo about, yung nawasak yung bahay, and then they will be able to build it up and start over again that fast. So that's really very inspiring. So ayun. So yun lang. Thank you so much for all the learnings, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Joanne. Parang the PDO SSD said that they learned a lot from this forum. Ma'am Jenny, may we hear from you? Key
Once
takeaways?
again, yeah, thank you again, no, to be one of the, I'll be able to share what we have and be able to collaborate to others. As I've said, it all begins with us. So the mindset really comes within us, and to have this discipline and then give also and share and collaborate, no, to how we can do small things to a bigger things. So again, it all begins with us. So we cannot share if we does not have. So that means sharing is still the best among collaboration of the ecosystem. So mindset is very, very important, that after all these disasters, sabi ko nga, laban lang, kaya natin ito. So it boils down with, again, mindset. So it all begins within us. Of course, with a lot of prayers and actions and everything that we are doing through humanity. Because we are not being paid by others, but of course with our self effort, no, collaborating with different tie-ups, no matter or whoever you are, or voluntarism and other things that can really incorporate such ideas, a concept that can really help a lot of people to save lives, no. So in the perspective of medical, because we are in the medical side, so the urgency of having it, again, it's still on, boils down with our mindset. So thank you, learn so much to each and everyone sharing, and I hope this will be not be the last, but on the next again, awareness not only happen once, but somehow preparation on not only today, but through long, it's a long process journey to all of us. And then thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Ma'am Jenny. Father Ray?
Just two points only. In SRG, when we can have only change when we can see that we have to change also our mentality, our point of view, that we are not alone in this journey. We can work together, and this is what we said, that we have to also to imbibe different practices, different experiences, and to make it more concrete in our own situation. The second is also to invite people in working with SRG, and when we have here, when we are in ecosystem, that many times we are looking for donors, or we can have donations, but I believe in SRG unless we will not change our mentality that blessing will come when we realize that we have to be blessing first to others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Ray. Father Gerald?
Maybe two things also. Gaya-gaya kay Dodong Dagitera, the great Father Dodong. Um, just maybe two things. Since you were the one that instigated, Miss Gia, the conference on disaster preparedness, mitigation,
Yes.
and response, maybe if that happens and when that happens, we would like to invite your team this early to become part of the presenter so that we're able to dialogue. Because I see that this group is a mixture of both from the scientific world and the community-based approaches. So I think it would be good for all of us to put together these different disciplines, these different experiences and competencies. Kumbaga magiging interdisciplinary ang ating approach, and maybe we can invite also from the government sector and then from the nonprofit organization. So please be part of that when that happens and if that happens. The second thing that maybe the key takeaway is, I think I am here with SRG because I believe in its unique value that it can contribute to society. That's why I think my task that I see as the head of the SRG Foundation is to see to it that we're able to harness our power as an ecosystem para sa social transformation and nation building. We have been called an ecosystem of good, and being so, ayun, siguro yung challenge sa ating lahat is kung paano natin siya ma-harness at ma-operationalize. So yun lang, I think we are still a work in progress. There has been some initiatives, and I think I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to make it sooner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Father Gerald. This early, yes, of course, I would like to participate because our objective really is to save lives. That's why we risk our own lives in order to create and make those maps, scientific maps, despite the difficulties in security, mga bundok na pinupuntahan, mga bodies of water na pinupuntahan namin, even threat to our lives in terms of security because we also did the maps of Mindanao. So yes, we'd love to share our studies, the results of our studies with you, and we'd love to expand the application of of our findings and share it with the community, especially with the ecosystem of SRG. But sabi nga nila, Noah did not build the ark. Build the ark before the flood happened, right? So it's a good thing to have that summit before more disasters happen. And they also said that prevent and prepare, do not repent and repair and repent. So uh gawin na natin to ngayon so that we don't have to repair and we don't have to repent. Magsisi tayo, no? That we did not do it, we did not prepare and prevent. So again, thank you very much to our esteemed panelists. The wealth of resources and experiences and sharings are certainly very, very much appreciated, especially from my perspective also, and I guess from our participants. Thank you for staying with us tonight and listening to the sharings and the experiences of our panelists. Uh, there are other announcements from the MC for the next series of talks on SRG and the 100-day campaign. We go back to the MC, please.
Ma'am Gia, excuse.
Apo.
Sorry, I think we haven't heard yet from Sir
Kanino?
John. Tapos na
From?
from Sir John. Nakapag-key takeaway ka na
Ay,
ba?
Sir John, sorry. Yes, Sir John po. Key
Thank you po.
takeaway,
Thank
Sir
you po.
John.
Siguro salamat din po kasi di naman kami tumitigil na matuto talaga Hindi lang tumitigil doon. So, always we gather learnings. So, salamat din po sa inyong lahat. Magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi din for joining us, Sir John. Sana wala nang darating pa after Pepito. Kasi kayo ang nakabungad lagi, no? Sa Catanduanes, Virac.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Salamat.
Thank you very much. We go back to the MC to make some more, who will need to make some more announcements.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Gia, and thank you to all our panelists. It was a pleasure hearing your insightful comments and thoughts during the panel discussion. So the call for care for the environment remains strong. We continue to encourage everyone to participate in this life-giving campaign for the benefit of our brothers and sisters who are in need and for the future of the younger generation. Spring Rain Global believes in the power of an ecosystem, the power of how the exponential impact of an ecosystem can amplify the voice of what we all are capable of doing, one day at a time. As we continue, we extend our sincere gratitude to the grassroots organizations that have come together for this campaign, as their contributions are essential for the success of the missions and programs related to our featured advocacies. We hope that this platform will encourage even more organizations and individuals to join us in our efforts, paving the way to a healed and better world for all. Here are ways to support the campaign. You can begin with small acts. Empower change through 100 days of giving. This initiative encourages individuals and organizations to engage in simple yet impactful actions that contribute to a greater cause. By committing to a daily act of generosity over the course of 100 days, participants can make a significant difference in supporting grassroots organizations dedicated to fostering a healed environment. You can also purchase Lazada vouchers. These donation vouchers will be available at the Spring Rain Global Lazada store. Donations raised will be posted weekly via SRG's Facebook page. You can also take action by signing up for Empowered Change through 100 days of giving. If you are an organization who is raising funds, you may register at the link shown on your screens.
Empower change. Donate in any way for 100 days.
And fuel our collective mission.
At Spring Rain Global's ecosystem of good.
Together, we can create lasting impact
and uplift communities in need.
Let's unite for a brighter future.
Empower change. Donate in any way for 100 days and fuel our collective mission at the Spring Rain Global's ecosystem of good. Together, we can create lasting impact and uplift communities in need. Let's unite for a brighter future.
Empower change.
Donate in any way for 100 days and fuel our collective mission at Spring Rain Global's ecosystem of good.
Together, we can create lasting impact and uplift communities in need.
Let's unite for a brighter future.
Empower change. Join us in 100 days of giving to fuel lasting impact through Spring Rain Global's
in any way for 100 days and fuel our collective mission as Spring Rain Global's ecosystem of good. Together, we can create lasting impact and uplift communities in need. Let's unite for a brighter future.
Empower change. Donate in any way for 100 days and fuel our collective mission at the Spring Rain's Global ecosystem of good. Together, we can create lasting impact and uplift communities in need. Let's unite for a brighter future.
Donations can be sent through the donation portals shown on your screen or through the bank accounts of the following organizations: Magical Mission Tondo, Passionists, Anchor Lab and Medical Center Incorporated, Corinthian Energy Resources, Caritas Virac, and Spring Rain Global Foundation, Inc. Kindly note that all donations deposited directly into the participating organizations' bank accounts will be for their exclusive use, while donations received through SRG Foundation will be distributed among all participants. Next week, we will introduce another important cause, which is sustainable transportation and green technology solutions. Sustainable transportation and green technology solutions aim to create eco-friendly transportation systems that reduce carbon emissions and promote environmental sustainability. These include electric vehicles, public transit, cycling infrastructure, and smart traffic management. By prioritizing green technologies, these solutions enhance mobility, improve air quality, and contribute to a healthier planet. We will feature the following PDOs: Swiftly or Dalan Safe Cebu, Vinrich Holdings LPC, Local Community Prosperity Alliance or LCPA, We are excited to invite everyone to participate in the Global Sleep Out 2024 on December 7, 2024 at the Capital Parish Gym in Kamputhaw at 8 o'clock in the evening. This event aims to raise awareness and funds for homelessness, a pressing issue affecting millions worldwide. Make your step count by joining us. You will sleep out in solidarity with those who are homeless, highlighting the importance of stable and safe housing for all. How can you participate? Register to be a participant sleeper through the registration link shown on your screens. You can also donate to support our projects for the advocacy on homeless in our SRG ecosystem. Let's unite as a community to raise awareness and funds to those in need. Your participation can make a significant difference. Know more about Global Sleep Out please visit Spring Rain Global Facebook page. To conclude tonight's program, here is my key takeaway. This advocacy is personally I can relate as a victim. At the moment, I am here in Dipolog City because my mom was admitted because of mild stroke. Today, we were so ambivalent because we are happy that finally my mom can be discharged from the hospital. But at the same time, we were so worried because last night, it was raining so hard and our neighbors told me in the hospital that our place is flooded. So all the time we were imagining, how can we go through all this? From hospital to flood. The feeling is not easy. But thanks God, as we reach our place, the water is just a few steps to our doorstep. That's why I'm here and do the MC. Praise be to God. Understanding the potential hazards and vulnerabilities of the community is crucial for effective planning, and developing a comprehensive plan for response, recovery, and rehabilitation is vital. Collaboration among different sectors, including the government, the civil society, and the private sector, is essential for successful disaster management. And I urge everyone to get involved. Being a victim of a flood or disaster is not easy. Let us all be part of this campaign and help rebuild a stronger and more resilient communities than before the disaster. Again, thank you everyone for being with us tonight for Spring Rain Global's fourth quarter fundraising campaign. We hope that in the coming weeks, more donors and donations will be added to our giving community. Don't forget to invite your family, friends, and partners and donors every Saturday at 8 p.m. to join our Saturday program. And before we end, may I request everyone to turn on your cameras for our photo op. Please open your cameras. Miss Che or Miss Clay?
Open your cameras and smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a restful Sunday evening. And please enjoy a Saturday evening and please enjoy this closing song.
I'm staring out into the night, trying to hide the pain. I'm going to the place where love and feeling good don't never cost a thing. And the pain you feel's a different kind of pain. I'm going home, back to the place where I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. I'm not running from, no, I think you got me all wrong. I don't regret this life chose for me, but these places getting longer, it seems. The closer I get to you. I've not always been the best man, a friend for you, but your love remains true. And I don't know why you always seem to give me another try. So I'm going home, to the place where I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. I'm not running from, no, I think you got me all wrong. Don't regret this life just for me. But these places and these places are getting old. Be careful what you wish for, 'cause you just might get it all. You just might get it all, and then some you don't want. Be careful what you wish for, 'cause you just might get it all. You just might get it all, yeah. Oh, well, I'm going home, to the place where I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. I'm not running from, no, I think you got me all wrong. I don't regret this life, but just for me. But these places and these places are getting old. I said these places and